Welcome to the Product Boss Podcast, where we help product-based businesses grow their sales and improve their strategies.
Hey everyone, I want to introduce you to my co-host and biz bestie, Mina Kunlo-Sitep, an Amazon guru that has built a multi-six-figure product-based business.
And introducing the other half of the Product Boss, Jacqueline Snyder. She has helped launch and grow over 500 fashion apparel and accessory brands, even one of her own.
And together, we share our inventory of secret weapons that will help you dig deep and do the work it takes.
Are you ready? Let's build together.
Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Product Boss Podcast. I'm your host, Jacqueline Snyder, and I'm here with my beautiful, talented, and biz bestie co-host, Mina Kunlo-Sitep. Hey Mina.
Hey Jacqueline.
So, welcome to Jacqueline and Mina and our new adventure.
Woohoo!
We were going for a little bit of the Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
I don't think we pulled it off very well, but
No.
okay.
Except my hair totally looks like one of theirs right now if I put that hat back on. Wish you could see it, but I'm glad you can't. So we wanted to share with you what we're up to, and we sort of touched on this last week in our podcast. Mina, do you want to share?
Yeah, we have something so amazing. Basically, it's a dream partnership that we dreamt up and are living. And we're doing a big partnership and project with CrateJoy, which is a subscription box marketplace.
And if you haven't ever seen CrateJoy or gone on it, it's so awesome. So twofold, right? Just as people who love subscription boxes, you can go on there and it sort of functions like the Etsy of subscription boxes where you can go on and buy presents. So guess what, guys? Mother's Day is coming up and all sorts, and Father's Day, and whenever you kind of can't figure out a present for people, I've actually gone on there and shopped because you can get things like vegan jerky or
Which everybody might not love to get gifted.
or for me maybe, or sticker clubs, or if you're a yoga fanatic or you love candles. And so basically what happens is you can actually place an order and get it delivered monthly. And I actually did that for my clients at Christmas and the New Year, where I got them 3-month subscription boxes actually to Sparkle Hustle Grow because they were female entrepreneurs with Julie Ball. And they loved it. You know, they loved getting this sort of gift, and it was the gift that kept giving. And it was a really good reminder of working with me, and they kept hearing from me monthly.
Yeah, it's giving like one of those like experiential gifts where you're opening it up, getting to see, like 5 items in a theme. So it's really fun because it's packed in, a box all together in a specific theme. And when you're gifting it to somebody, you're not on a reoccurring subscription either usually. So, you don't have to send them like 3 months worth of gifts. You can just send them the one box and call it a day.
Yeah, depends on how generous you're feeling. But it is great because like my brother was given a whiskey subscription. My husband is part of like Angel Wines. They're not on the platform, but there's certain things that people are really into and you can find it. So if you want to go down that rabbit hole and take a look at all the awesome gifts you could buy from subscription box owners, go ahead and check that out. But what we wanted to talk to you all about and what the collaboration is with us and CrateJoy is teaching our listeners about becoming subscription box owners, having that as another stream of revenue for your business.
Yeah, I've been dreaming of this for so long. I feel like subscription box I keep saying it's in my destiny. And I don't know if we ever mentioned how Jacqueline and I both got into doing the masterminds, but I was reluctant to get into masterminds, and Jacqueline kind of pushed me and was like, hey, we should totally do this. So now it's like the, vice versa of that, where I'm like, hey, Jacqueline, we should totally do this. And so I feel like before it was her pushing me and now it's me pushing her into like these big opportunities and these big fun things. Turns out I love masterminding and I love hosting those things. So I think that Jacqueline's going to come back to me and be like, this was your best idea ever. And I love this collaboration.
Yeah, those things that are, the things that are scarier, they're out of your comfort zone. But every so often, we really have to push ourselves into that because you will look back. It's in anything that you do. Like Mina's going rock climbing this weekend.
It's indoor. I'll have a harness, and I'm taking my 7-year-old, so I'm guessing we'll stick with the really short ones.
But still, totally, like, you may be thinking it's one way and you're going to climb it and you're going to be like scaling like the greatest tallest wall they have. And so it's something that when it's unknown and it seems foreign, it might be a little bit scary or you're unsure about entering into it. And that's why we wanted to start sharing all this information with you, because we just think it's such an awesome platform for product based owners.
Yeah, it's so smart and it's big. It's a big opportunity and a big leap, but at the same time, the rewards could be so big. Like you could really be adding so much revenue to your business month over month over month, and you could actually be really changing your business model. You know, it's like one of those things that people think that, for instance, like Amazon is so huge, right? And then they attempt it, and it's very complicated actually in the setup. It's not like CrateJoy where it's very simple. So in doing Amazon, then they figure out whether or not they want to do it and whether or not it's feasible for their business and whether or not that model will work for them. The same would go for going on CrateJoy. It's like basically you're testing out, is this really smart for my business? And do I want this? Do I want that monthly recurring revenue, which is amazing, right? But that means monthly recurring work, right? So, I mean, it's all work, right? So it's like, how do you want to do that work and how do you want to execute it in your day-to-day life?
But can I just tell you that I know out of the clients and the people in our masterminds that we work with, they would love to be busy shipping every day. Like that's the worst problem you could have, that you're so busy that you need to hire somebody else to help you ship all your
Right.
merchandise to like feed all your orders. So we want to talk about some reasons why we're obsessed with owning a subscription box business and why we think you should be too. So one is, hello, reoccurring monthly revenue, which Mina already touched on. And it is a seriously smart way to expand or pivot your business.
Yeah, super smart. When Jack and I were on the speaking tour, which we just spoke on panels, right? And we were talking about multiple streams of revenue and multiple platforms. Subscription box model was always on there because it's so smart. There's so many people doing it, and it's really a growing industry where it's just going to get bigger and bigger. So it's just one of those platforms that get on it now, and it could be amazing.
And did you guys know that the subscription market has grown by more than 100% year over year for the past 5 years? That's from McKinsey and Company. That's some research that they've done. But can you believe it? Because what else can you say has grown 100% year over year in the past 5 years?
Yeah, and we're talking, I mean, who knows, millions, gazillions, trillions. I don't know, but I'm guessing the subscription box industry as a whole is huge, right? And so 100% year over year, that is crazy bonkers.
I think one of the stats we learned about CrateJoy is that last year they shipped 6 million subscription boxes off of their platform. And then this year they're already on schedule and on target. And we're in the, what do we hit the second quarter already? We're in April of 2018 and they're already projected to hit 10 million subscription boxes this year. Just think about that. I mean, it's new and it's kind of, how Amina talks about Amazon where she got in early. Let's talk about getting in early. And we wanted to share the secret with you that this is a new way that people are shopping and a new model and like a new platform. And this is getting in early.
Yeah, let's look at a few of those numbers. So CrateJoy gets, 3 million views a month from people shopping for subscription boxes. So since it's a subscription box marketplace, that's what they're exclusively shopping for. So people are going on there and looking for exactly that. Just like if it's on Etsy, they're looking for handmade stuff. That sense has changed, of course. And like if it's Thrive Market, they're looking for organic stuff, or healthy stuff. I think that's what they sell. But like CrateJoy, for instance, they're known for their subscription boxes, and that's exclusively what people are looking for. Like they're there to search and shop and buy something. I bring this up because people often think that Google is the same search engine as, like, let's say Amazon. So if someone types in gloves on Google, they're not necessarily in the mindset to buy it. They're just Googling it to learn about it, right? But if someone types in gloves on Amazon, they're looking to buy it. Their mindset is 100% sure that they're probably going to buy it, maybe like 90%. They might be in the research mode, right? And so when they go onto CrateJoy, their intention is to buy a subscription box. So that's what was so amazing about it, is that you're connecting with a customer that already has that in their mind. You're not having to convince them, you know?
Totally. So it's like hashtag visibility, right? That's all we want. What would you do? I mean, 3 million views monthly, and the fact that if your product is up there and it's doing well. And the other cool thing about that, let's just put this out there, is you could do subscription boxes, but you can also sell individual items. So one of the tips that we were told was basically, let's say you have your subscription box and you stock the boxes, and maybe you don't sell 25 of the boxes that you sort of filled the previous month. You can then put it back onto CrateJoy as an individual item. So I don't know, let's say I had a candle from that box and I had 25 of them left. That next month I could sell just the candle by itself. So you always have this way of selling individual product, layering, adding on to you. So if they want to buy a box for themselves plus an extra gift, you can do that.
Yeah, it's they call it their add-on products. So basically in our minds it's like that upsell, right? You're getting in front of them with something that they've already received. Also possibly if they're not a subscriber, they wouldn't have received it already, but you know that they love it. I'm the type of person, and I think this is you too, right? Like if I love something, I will buy the same thing in 5 different colors, in the exact same size, same style. And I'm the same way with candles and the same way with soap too. Like if I love something, I'll buy 5 at a time. I do that with my shampoo and conditioner actually too. So it's one of those things where if you love it, then you have access to it and you can just like grab it up. And then that seller, if you're the seller, you can have that as an add-on item with the items that you know that are really selling well or the ones that you just have overstock of.
Totally. And you can make so much more money that way too, because they're getting it all in this box. And then all of a sudden you're selling at an individual price and they don't know what the value is individually versus the box. So another really, really cool, interesting thing about CrateJoy and why we thought you should know about this is that businesses listing on CrateJoy reach $1,000 in recurring revenue in half the time than a subscription box owner doing it and they're doing their own marketing. So basically, you could add subscription box onto your model, onto your website, and a lot of our listeners do have that. But by having the marketplace that CrateJoy has, you can cut that time in half of reaching $1,000. So, I mean, that could be 5 minutes, that could be 10 minutes, that could be 2 days. The time doesn't matter, but it's just how much faster you can make more money and more revenue.
Yeah, again, hashtag visibility. It's because those 3 million people are looking for a subscription box. And it's just like how people are like, I built my website. I'm not sure why I'm not getting any sales. Well, you have to push your own traffic. That's the hardest part, right? So, the really great thing about going to a site that already has its traffic is that in 3 million people is a huge amount of traffic, is that you're going to be able to get in front of eyes that you've never gotten in front of before. So it is totally worth that platform to build out a complete brand. So even if you're adding to your brand, you are getting in front of eyes and delivering to them in a mode that they want to be delivered to. Like they want to buy a subscription box with, like let's say I had little labels, and if I had a little label subscription box, then that would be giving me exposure for the other parts of my business.
Totally. So let's talk about a case study for a subscription box on CrateJoy to kind of share with you what could happen. So one of these case studies is called How Singles Swag Got 8,000 Subscribers in 1 year. 8,000. Let's just talk about that. That's 8,000 paying subscribers that are probably getting most of their stuff more than once. So 8,000 people monthly with reoccurring revenue.
Yeah, that's insane. Let's say he's making $5 to $10. That's a lot of money in 1 month, right? I'm sure that's his full-time business, I would think. Or he's hiring a fulfillment center where it might not even be, he might be sourcing those things. But the reason why I love this box so much is that the idea behind it is that when you're single, you don't get a lot of gifts. You're on this island, nobody's delivering you gifts, which, Not that I get a million gifts with having a partner or having someone there though. So I think that that's the funny part. But when you're young, you do because you're dating and you're getting each other wonderful gifts, let's say. And so it's the idea of his idea was that it's okay and it's wonderful to give yourself self love. You are gifting yourself and making yourself feel wonderful, and you should not be ashamed of that. And that's what I love is that true that, you should be doing that.
So this always reminds me of that Sex and the City episode, if any of you were avid watchers like I was, where Carrie goes to a baby shower and she has to leave her shoes at the door because, like new moms, no shoes in the house, that sort of thing. And they were really beautiful. I don't know if they were Jimmy Choos or what. And when she left, the shoes were missing. And she was so pissed, and the woman did nothing for her. And I think she had sent her I don't know if okay, I'm getting this wrong and anyone that watches, but basically the point of the story was she was basically going to register for her shoes and send it to the woman to do it because she's like, I buy you wedding gifts, baby shower presents, presents for your kids, presents for all this stuff. You guys buy me nothing. Like the only way I'm ever going to get a present from my friends is if I get married or have a baby and all these things. And otherwise, I'm just left out. And so this totally reminds me of that episode where it's like, just because you're single, why can't you also be getting things? And your friends should, especially when your friends have kids, which, kind of who we are now, they forget to, you don't buy your 40-year-old friend a present anymore, but why not? So this is to buy yourself because you've got the money.
Yeah. And the cool thing too is that, I think at the beginning of the case study, it talked about whether or not he was going to target this box for men or women. And he decided to target towards women because he felt like that was a better representation of that box. I feel like it is true. Women love and they appreciate gifts a little bit more, and they need that. It's like that love language a lot of times, not because they're materialistic, but because they emotionally attach to things differently, And so in the end of the article, it talks about how he might be coming out with a male version of this box, but doesn't know if it will do well because it seems a little bit disingenuous. And so I thought that was super interesting because it makes such a difference for the success of a subscription box if you know who you're going to target market and if you really niche down. You can't just serve everybody. It can't be a box for everybody. It has to be a box for specific people.
And I think we talked about that in our customer avatar episode where basically you can't serve everybody. If you're serving everybody, you're serving no one. So you do want people to feel not repelled, but not everyone is accepted into this box. What he did do here though, is that he said single or not. And it's about loving yourself. So really what it is it's just about a woman buying herself gifts. And my mom, by the way, everyone, if she's listening, would always be like, why does someone have to buy me jewelry? I'm just going to go buy myself jewelry. Because she was like, you can wait around for that present forever or just get it for yourself because you work your butt off or you're a stay-at-home mom or whatever you are, you deserve something if you can buy it for yourself.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's funny because I used to have a real, I don't know, not a problem, but a real, I don't even know what to call it, but I didn't ever buy myself flowers and now I do. And because I'll be at Trader Joe's or whatever, but I always thought that you should be gifted flowers, which now I don't think that at all. So I think that it's just silly and funny how your life changes and how even the idea of this box I think is really cool. You're putting it to somebody's head that, hey, it's okay and it's cool. And that's what I really like about it too.
Yeah. So just again, going back to some data, just because we have that for you, which is why we're doing this awesome collaboration that we can actually back all this up with data. So within a year of starting to sell Single Swag, Jonathan had over 12,000 paid customers and he generated over $1.5 million in revenue. Okay. That is amazing. And he's basically, his subscriber base has grown almost sixfold in the past 6 months. And so it's kind of like we talk about that snowball, right? It just keeps growing and growing and growing. And then how it grows in magnitude. And so he's at a month-to-month growth rate right now of 63%. And this is all through the Create Joy platform.
Yeah, that is amazing. CrateJoy actually, the nice thing about them is that you can be selling just a handful of boxes all the way up to thousands and thousands of boxes, and it will still be able to support your startup and as well as your scale. That's what I really like about CrateJoy is that it's for everybody, small or big, and it can really, you don't have to go look for another platform if you get too big for it. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So what we do want you to know too, and just to have a reminder about this, we are launching. So this is going to come out on Thursday, and tomorrow, Friday, we're launching a series 1 of the Subscription Boss podcast. So what we're going to do for our listeners is we're basically going to talk about being a subscription boss, what it'll take to become one, cool tips and tricks. We're going to interview some successful product-based owners that have subscription boxes. Cross your fingers that we get them locked down in our time. And we're also going to do some on-air trainings with people that want to launch a subscription box. Be a boss with a box.
And I think it's super exciting because Jacqueline and I kind of made this partnership into what we wanted it to be, how we saw it, because the idea of having someone become a subscription box boss is it's just like something that was never, you couldn't even grasp it a few years ago, right? Because it was really hard to do. Now it's just like the average person, a mom of 2, let's say, can have a subscription box and do a side hustle. She can build that business into like a crazy bonkers, huge amount of revenue, or she can just keep it where it's sustainable and she can, have a limited number of boxes every month. So before it was something where it was inconceivable. Now it's just like anybody could do it if they had the resourcefulness and the right goals and the right team, and they could get it done and make it amazing.
And by team, I mean, if you even think about like Julie Ball's interview, it's you and your husband and maybe your kids on your kitchen counter until you're doing so well that you're able to scale and hire. So the other thing about that is that being a subscription box business owner, you don't have to actually be manufacturing your own product. So we're going to talk about that too, right? Twofold. If you have your own product line, if you're in apparel or let's say Mina with little labels, or, we've got clients that do home goods type stuff, and even people in service-based businesses that have maybe 1 or 2 products. We can build the business or help you figure out how to build this business without having to manufacture all the products that go into it, or adding your product in, or just tapping into that same customer. So for example, Mina has a customer base for little labels. She could easily create a subscription box around moms of young kids, for example, because she's got the email list, she's got the following. So she could just do something completely separate and source all these goods to go into a box. And then all of a sudden, like, I think Mina, when she was thinking about doing this, you thought you could get like 500 subscribers right away.
Yeah, I think that I could, because I have I have like 1,500 people on my email list. Not that I keep up with them very much, but you know what? When I set goals, I make sure I have a big enough stretch goal, but I also like have a strategy, right? So there'd be like pre-selling and gathering emails. Like there's an intention behind it. So I'm not thinking, oh, I'm just going to I'm shooting for 500 and keeping my fingers crossed. I'm thinking of like having a big strategy and collaborating with people and really getting the word out and really having a strategy behind it. So yeah,
Well,
500.
you.
Yeah.
You would.
Yeah. And then also 500 what is in my mind, because I felt like that was the number for when I could scale it to be in a fulfillment center. But actually, I didn't even tell you this. I've been doing some fulfillment center digging, and there's been a couple of fulfillment centers that you don't have to have even close to 500. You could have 100 and be outsourcing that. And the cost break is at 500 per box. So then but it only varies from like 20 cents to 50 cents of a price drop from the dollar or two that it normally takes to fulfill 500. So instead of, $2, it's $1.50, let's say,
Yeah.
which is not significant. I'm willing to eat that 50 cents if I can send it off to a fulfillment center sooner,
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing also that CreateJoy really supports you in. And they have these like amazing Facebook groups, and they even have something called Subscription School, but basically just getting up to your first 100 subscribers. Like once you get to 100, you're good. Like it will just start going from there, right? And so you could think about 100 people, do you know 100 people plus your own mailing list and your product list? And if you really knew your customer avatar, why couldn't you do this? Why couldn't you test it as an alternative stream of income?
Yeah, you're not putting a lot of money in because just think if you're pre selling, you're presenting them the idea of whatever the box is. Let's say it's a Hanukkah box, okay? So you have all things Hanukkah in this box, and you present the idea to them, and you say on that, let that pre sale, that pre launch page, you say, hey, I'm putting together this box. Put your email in here, and you could possibly win a free 1 year subscription or something, and then you're getting emails. So the more emails you get, obviously the better you're doing. And then also you're able to validate your idea. So let's say 0 people sign up besides your mom and your grandma,
Which they
and
would.
they would, but that's not very validating to your idea, right? So you know that if it's only those 2 people, you need to tweak the idea. Maybe instead it's Hanukkah cookies. Every single month you get Hanukkah cookies. So it can be just like
Which you wouldn't because it's Hanukkah. But
okay.
but probably she's totally trying to cater because I'm like, there's no Jewish boxes. But like a Jewish box, right? Like, so something that we were talking about this exactly, like all the holidays. So Easter just happened and it was Passover. Let me tell you, my kids were like, we're more about faith in our house and like being kind to people than religion, but I do buy matzah and they do go Easter egg hunting. Well, guess what wins? Chocolate Easter eggs way over.
Those are not kosher.
It's even like, I remember we used to go home to my in-laws' house during Passover and it was like, well, we can't eat that bread. We can't eat that. Like it'd be Easter, dinner, whatever, or lunch. So, like a Jewish box for kids or whatever. And then you could see too, like at the holiday times, like, so a Hanukkah box, you could also do a single box, right? So it could be for people who don't want to subscribe all year, but maybe they want something that comes just then, like in that month that Hanukkah is going to fall in, because you can also do a single box, right? Like as a one-off item.
Yeah, you could. I think it's a little bit harder when you're the seller to make it hit a season, but I do think that you can just somehow mold the idea so that it could be every month themed. I mean, every month you could be teaching your child about, something Jewish, for instance. The reason what made me think of that is, yeah, you are Jewish, but also there was a couple products on Shark Tank that, remember, there's that Elf on the Shelf, but the guy made the Jewish version.
Mensch on a bench. We
Yeah.
have it.
Oh my God. Yeah. For instance, like that, right? And then I've seen, I can't remember what else there was, but a few Jewish products on there that did really well because there is a gap in that market that people don't know how to teach their children about specific things, whether it be it's like they do, but they don't know the words to really connect with them to make it where it's like fun. Because like Christmas is so much fun. You're getting gifts, Easter, you're getting chocolate eggs, but like the Jewish holidays, you don't get to eat bread and
Well, we've stayed very, I mean, that's the thing, right? It's close to religion and less like Hallmark. So, but the mensch on the bench and things like that, guess what? Everybody wants, like Jews too have money that want to spend money at the holidays, and they, like in my house, I want to decorate my house. Like maybe it might be in blue and silver, but I still want the decorations. And only in the last couple of years has Target had, like a small holiday section that actually had like light up lights that you could put that were like blue and white or like that said Happy Hanukkah. So with that said, looking at at these niches or places that need to be filled, Mina and I could keep running our other businesses and all of a sudden decide, and that would be awesome, Mina, if you did this with me and we did a Jewish subscription box.
I don't know if I'd love the idea of Jewish. Not that I have anything against Jewish people, disclaimer. But
I'm totally kidding. I'm like, if I brought you onto this project.
But, I think that when you do decide what type of box that you do want, you have to remember that this is a long-term game, right? So it has to be something that you're truly interested in. I myself wouldn't be teaching it to my kids, so I wouldn't feel like it was a genuine connect. So
which is a good point. Like, don't just come up with an idea that you can't really connect with.
Right, over and over, because like any entrepreneur endeavor, there's going to come to a time where your fire's going to get fizzled out on specific days when it's hard, and you want to come back to a day where it's like, oh yeah, I remember why I'm doing this and why I love it, and I'm a born entrepreneur and I came up with this brilliant idea. And now the fire is back on, you know? So I think you really
So
have to think about it like that.
So in our mastermind, we have a mastermind called Multi-Stream Machine. And so I know you touched on this earlier, but Multi-Stream Machine is basically multiple streams of income, like creating this machine that you have all these different platforms. And we would say, there's a traditional model, there's the non-traditional model, there's flash sale sites, off-price markets, and subscription box was one of them, right? So we were teaching our masterminders about all the different ways they could sell. And so even if this doesn't sound like it's something for you right now, we are releasing 2 episodes on Friday. So like 2 back-to-back binge-worthy episodes for you to listen to just get a good idea of what it's like to be a subscription box owner, to learn more about it. And also, this series, like there's not a lot about this. There's, this deep focus and training and fun while learning about another platform to sell on. So even if it's not for you right now, it could be for you eventually. Or some of these tips and tricks you'll learn from us, there's so much you can do to pull this information into your current business. Like just thinking again, #visibility, learning how to be more visible.
Yep. Pre-selling, pre-launching, taking an industry or a platform and then reinventing it to something where you could use it. So even if you don't end up with a subscription box, you still end up with amazing content and useful tips and things that you could definitely use. I do want to bring up should we talk about our fun fact, our fun but important fact?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so where is that statistic?
Meanwhile, while she's searching for that statistic, just to let you all know, so on April 27th, we're dropping 2 episodes of The Subscription Boss. And then every Friday through the month of May, there will be another fun episode. So you're going to get double the Jacqueline and Mina per week right now between the Product Boss and the Subscription Boss. And what we want you guys to do is they're actually offering a free 2-week, no obligation, no credit card needed trial to test out Cratejoy and to see the back end. And we are here to fully support you in that. So this entire podcast has you in mind, where we were like, okay, we're going to share this information with you. You all get to look around and peek and see what's up for the next 2 weeks. And we are going to support you with that. And the other thing we're going to do for you all is that we're actually going to open a private Facebook group for everybody who signs up for that 2-week free trial. Remember, no obligation, no credit card required. But if you sign up, Mina and I personally want to walk you through it and help you. And so we're going to do trainings and we're going to chat about it. And there's going to be a support group. And don't forget, we have connections right now at Cratejoy during this time where we can easily ask some of the people that we know there questions that you wouldn't be able to get answered if you were doing this any other time. So if you want to be a part of that super special VIP Facebook group for subscription boss owners or wannabe or soon to be owners, what we need you to do is send us a screen grab that you've logged in and signed up for the free 2-week trial on Cratejoy. So that link is in the show notes of this podcast, where you can go to that link, click on it, and sign up for your 2 free weeks, no obligation.
No credit card.
No credit card. Peek at behind the scenes of Cratejoy. And then if you send us a screen grab that you've done that and you send it to
theproductboss@gmail.com.
I was like, did we change our email? theproductboss@gmail.com. And you send us a screen grab and we will connect with you on Facebook and invite you in. And then there you are. We will all chat and build together. So
yeah.
Go ahead.
I did. And this is one of the back end fun facts that we found out from Cratejoy. And we've been learning so much because they've given us so much access to their keywords and their data and the success stories and the strategy that their really successful people have been doing. So listen to this, guys. And this is what really clinched the deal for Jacqueline and I in that whether or not we wanted to partner with Cratejoy. And this was really what it was. The success rate of a subscription box more than doubled if the box merchant already was a business owner. So what does that mean? That means if you're already a business owner, you have more than double the chance of being successful. You know why? because you're already an entrepreneur who's really resourceful and who can make things happen and implement the heck out of an idea, a brilliant idea, and really just know what you're doing, and then also know that you need help in specific areas. So I think that just makes a huge difference than someone who's like off the street and not already a business owner, someone who that might give up after the first, couple hiccups.
Well, there's idea people and then there's doers. We've talked about that too. So there are people with lots of ideas and maybe they can kind of get it together, but the people who do it and they know how to do it right, and we know our listeners are those people. And I mean, there's some really great tips that we'll talk about, like whether it's photos. So that's something that's like a really big tip they told us about was how great your photos are. We're going to talk about that in an episode of The Subscription Boss. And either way, like we said, whether or not you think that you want to be a subscription box business owner or not, you need to learn about photos because so everything we do now is visual, be it social media, on your website, your platform, just everything. It's all about your photo and looking legit and professional.
Yeah, for sure. They said, what was it, 4 to 10 images that are spectacular, and what is spectacular and how can you make it happen, right?
Pinnable images that go viral. Like think about all of those things and that's what you need. And we are going to help you shortcut shortcut the whole thing. So we just really wanted to share with you, our lives are pretty consumed the next few months with this because we are so excited about it and the opportunity that it's going to present all of you that we are just digging in deep. I mean, it was such a pleasure to work with them. And so this whole idea of the podcast stemmed from Mina and I really brainstorming and thinking like, we don't need a sponsor. That's not necessarily what we need. And that's not necessarily what our clients need. And that's not even what our sponsors need, but a partnership, like a full-on integration between us and this amazing company. And that idea again of like multi-stream machine, like really digging in deep to one of those platforms that we tell our clients to do all the time and being able to share all this knowledge. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's been a lot of hard work, I'm not going to lie, but it feels so good to present such a big idea and such a big opportunity to be like, hey, this could change your life. And we can say stuff all the time like, hey, you should join this or you should do that or you should, become a subscription box owner, but we're not able to walk you through it in specific details. So this is, a whole bunch of podcast episodes plus behind the scenes data that you're getting straight from Cratejoy through us, and then also access to us in a Facebook group where we'll be helping you in answering your specific questions. And you'll have a whole bunch of other people that are going through the same journey with you that at the exact same time. So you can kind of glean some information off of them that you weren't even thinking of. And then also just so much, it's like all the things are aligning, the stars are aligning for you.
And just imagine if we existed when Amazon started, or not when they started because Cratejoy's been around a while, but like when Amazon was still sort of
a baby.
Yeah,
it grew up fast,
not
fast.
This beast. Imagine if there was a whole podcast dedicated to teaching you how to sell on Amazon's marketplace, and that people at Amazon were actually fully supporting you in that knowledge and giving you tips and tricks that then today, years later, you would be in this amazing position when now everybody wants to figure out how to get on that platform and how to sell and how to get a bestseller ranking. And it's not easy. It's so much harder now than it was then. So we want to just thank you all for listening. And this was sort of our great adventure discussion with you all to sort of share where we're at and really the reasons behind why we personally, with 2 little kids, are going to put our hard work and effort and time behind this and this podcast, because that's how important we feel like it is. And that's how important we think it is for all of you to learn about. Because if we could be shouting from the rooftops, our friends would be like, what are you talking about? Be quiet. But we know that you're all our tribe and that you'll value this information. Just such a gem. So remember, these are the things we want you to remember. 1, Cratejoy is offering our listeners a free 2-week trial with no obligation, no credit card required, to see the back end, right? To see behind and to see if you like it.
See how easy it is.
Easy. And we didn't even point this out, but if you signed up full time with them, you get a customer success manager. So they're customer service is incredible. They do not ever let you feel like you're alone in it. They're there for you.
Yeah, so that customer success manager actually is assigned to you for life. They're
For
married
life.
to you for
Yeah.
life.
Like we talked to one of them, and she has like this, we saw some back end of all of her people that she talks to, and she knows, yeah, and she knows about her the clients, or she knows about these boxes on this platform. It's not a huge thing where you're like one of the million and no one knows about you. Like there is a dedicated employee, like a real life human being in Texas that knows about your brand and wants you to grow and will actually strategize with you.
Yeah.
So we're not sending you somewhere that you're going to be all by yourself.
And we were like, for life, like forever. And she was like, yeah. I do want to say one more thing about their marketing team too. Their marketing team is amazing, and they really back their merchants, that the subscription box sellers, and they actually have gotten a lot of them on BuzzFeed, Mashable, and Business Insider, and like have catapulted their growth. So just keep that in mind. Instead of you marketing yourself and you're on this lone island, you actually have a marketing team that sees the ones that are really like connecting with the audience, connecting with subscribers, and then being like, hey, that's a really cool box. I'm going to try to promote it on behalf of them. And then they do it. They've done it over and over and over and over. And that is so cool to have like this little team behind you that you don't pay, you didn't ask for, but they know that your success means their success.
So think about it like Father's Day, right? BuzzFeed might do a top 10 gifts to get that dad with that mustache. And one of them, because that's what they would do, and one of them might be a male grooming subscription kit that's sold on Cratejoy, for example. And that's because Cratejoy went and pushed it towards them and got it on one of those lists. So again, that 2-week free trial, we would love for you to take a look, and we'd love for you to be a part of our group. So if you go down to the show notes in the podcast, we have a link to sign up for that free 2-week trial. And if you do that, send us a screen grab that you've signed up to theproductboss@gmail.com. So it's theproductboss@gmail.com, and send us that screen grab, and we will personally invite you into the super awesome VIP group that we're only having right now during this special partnership with Cratejoy.
Yeah, thanks everyone. And we hope to see you in our email box.
And we'll see you on Fridays. If you love the Product Boss podcast, we'd love for you to subscribe, share, rate, and give a review on iTunes. Until next time, Product Bosses, let's make it happen.
Hey, Product Bosses, make sure to tune in tomorrow right here on the Product Boss feed for the first 2 episodes of Subscription Boss. We'll see you there.